Hello, welcome to my podcast. What drives and motivates you? Where does your inspiration come from? This is it's my third podcast, and I'm sort of getting used to it. And I know that after this, I should actually edit the podcast before publishing it, and I will do that. I might even put some intro music on it. Today, what inspired me was being able to go out and about, being able to go for a long walk. I walked 7 miles, and it was just a beautiful, pleasant, and it's good to be out in the fresh air when you can. And I really enjoyed having just to relax and to walk and enjoy the countryside and visit the canal. We're very fortunate to have the Kennis-Nevin Canal next to us. It connects Bristol with London. And the wonderful thing about a canal is that if you go for a walk along there, it's fairly flat. Apart from where I live, which is in Devizes, and we've got the longest flight of locks in the world. And the idea of a set of canal locks is to go from low level to a higher level. And it's quite a steep climb actually, but it is a place where I can walk in relative peace and quiet, enjoy the countryside, and keep fit. I've got a Fitbit, and I try to do 8,000 steps a day, and most days achieve that. And that's what keeps me going. That's what motivates me. Getting out in the fresh air, walking. We'll be going out again tomorrow, walking. But the other thing that motivates me is the people who are my friends. And we're coming together next week for 5 days live, but this time it's 5 days live with a purpose, because previously we've been training people how to go live before a show, during a show, and after a show. And literally millions of people around the world have learned how to live broadcast in the last 5 years, 4 years on Facebook. Now, what happens if you want to appear on camera, but you do not want to host the show? You don't want to produce the show. You don't want to know the technical bits. You just want to turn up, switch your camera on, and be broadcasting to the world. You need a show producer. And there are an increasing number of show producers, and they range. I mean, I asked a question in the Belivers group: how should you charge for a 30-minute live broadcast on Facebook and YouTube? And the prices range from $75 for 30 minutes up to $500 for 30 minutes. Now, those are two extremes, and I know the people involved. And got to talking with Lottie Hearn and Shepherd and Limbanda. And we decided that there are no regulations. It's not regulated. I mean, when you want somebody to produce your show, how do you know who's a good producer? And how does a producer know what services they should be providing? Should they provide, at its simplest, somebody can say, right, okay, I'll produce your show for you. Turn up quarter of an hour before. I'll test your video feed and your microphone, and then we'll go live on the hour. We're live for 30 minutes. After it, I will send you a high definition recording, which you can repurpose as you wish. That's the simplest form. But doing a live broadcast is not just about 30 minutes. It's about the preparation that goes on beforehand. And it can make the difference between people watching live and nobody watching live. How you actually prepare for a show is important. The live broadcast itself, practice makes perfect, and you should practice with your guests, with your host and guests before you go live. It makes sense. Just have a quick run through the day before. But if you do that, for it. Then there's the post the live show, and after the live show, you can just send a copy of the video in high definition, or you can say, right, okay, let's go and market this, because winter is the best way to actually create content, because it's better than writing a blog. It's more effective than writing. You can actually reach out to people in a live video, encourage conversation, and get people interested in what you're marketing. And it can be a product or it can be a cause. So from that point of view, there's a disparity between the two prices, between the $75 and the $500. So I say the four of us actually got chatting about it, and we said, well, we need to discuss this, and we need to sit down and talk about it and find a way forward. But we've now taken it one step further, and we've got a team of 10 people who will be broadcasting next week on Facebook and on YouTube at 10 a.m. Eastern every day. And it's a group of friends, really. And we were 8, we are now 10. And I suppose the thing I want to do is just talk about them, because they're a global, we've never met. We have never met. We have become firm friends through live broadcasting, and we enjoy getting together. But this time we're going to get together with a purpose. Marco Novo is Portuguese, based in Portugal, and he and I have a regular show on Restream every Wednesday. And we have a blast with Harper. We're joined by Harper, so that's a regular Wednesday show. And Marco produces shows for the people. And you see where this is going, because all the people I'm talking about actually walk the walk. They don't just talk, they go out and do it. The second person, I'm most pleased that Irene Enriquez Chan is joining us from the Philippines. I've known Irene since she asked me to produce a show for One Stop. And we get on very well. We're both connected with BeLive. Irene is the marketing manager at BeLive, and we've done many things together and will continue to do so in the coming years. But Irene knows what she's looking for in a show producer, somebody to produce a show for BeLive. So that's invaluable information. I'm looking forward to finding out more about that later this week. David Burrows is a friend. He lives in Sarnia in Ontario. He is a broadcaster. He was broadcasting long before Facebook even thought of it. He's been broadcasting for many years. Not that he's that old, but he is a seasoned broadcaster, voice-over for books as well. He is a community in Sarnia. He televises events from within Sarnia, including the hockey and the parades. And he produces shows for the people. And at the moment, he's actually working with the government of Ontario, and he's actually helping them to get their story, and it's a very important story, to get their story out to the citizens of Sarnia and beyond. The next person in an amazing lineup of people is Brigitte Lembanda. Brigitte and I broadcast together for 3 years on a number of platforms, but we finished off on BeLive earlier this year. And Brigitte lives in Cape Town in South Africa, and she has a regular Writer's Corner show on BeLive, and she produces for the people, and she knows the tech side, knows the front of camera side, she knows behind the scenes, and she's just so good at getting the best out of her guests when she does interviews on the shows. Now, next in line, and he is Joe Shepherd. Joe Shepherd is in Ireland, and Joe and I, again, get on famously. He has gone from starting a broadcast to now having a broadcast listened to by hundreds of people. And his shows are mainly based around rugby. He's Irish, so the Irish rugby team is something that he loves and supports and promotes. But he also produces shows for other people on a commercial basis. And he's got the background, the tech background. He's got the ability to actually get the best out of people that he works with. And he is the most probably he has to be, because the number of shows that he actually oversees. He's one of the most organized people that I know, and I'm looking forward to talking with Joe, as I am with David and Irene and Marco next week, because they walk the walk. They know what it's all about. Then a very special lady is Lottie Hearn. Lottie Hearn is in Ireland as well, and Lottie is the confidence coach. She does one-to-one sessions and group sessions, and she's a TEDx speaker, and she's written a book, and that book I've read and enjoyed reading, and I learned a lot from it, because Lottie teaches people to be calm, collected, presentable, and personable on camera. And that's a skill set she's had since she was on TV in Hong Kong. I'm not going to say when, but it was a couple of years ago. But Lottie is just amazing. Bundle of energy which she brings to the screen. Again, she has the ability not to show, but also to actually get the most out of the people who take part in her shows. And she does a regular weekly broadcast on Be Live, and she just rocks. A newcomer to our team, but not a newcomer to me, is Adair Palmer. Now based in Australia, which means that when we go live this week, as we will be doing, Adair, it will be midnight for it. And I did say you can actually do one of two things. You can either record it through live, and she's going to appear live on Thursday at midnight where she is, 3 p.m. where we are, and 10 a.m. Eastern in the States, East Coast. Adair and I, well, we just get on. I think this is the key to a friendship, that you respect each other. And Adair produces shows for people in Australia on Be Live, and she is just, well, we've done shows together, we've broadcast together, and it's always good fun. Again, mutual respect is there, and that's the key to successfully broadcasting. It's being able to understand each other and to play off each other, and not to take each other too seriously, but to actually make a serious point. And Adair is joining me live on Thursday, and we'll be talking about, well, good practice for productions. And that's going to be interesting, because we've got both. Adair will be live, Irene is going to be recorded, and together we'll put on the show and come up with the best practice for a production. And the next person on the list is Linda Sunshine West, or Linda West. Linda and I did a show together called Just Do It. And Linda's motivation in life is don't think about it, do it. And if it works, all well and good. If it fails, the next thing. And like me, she's an eternal optimist, and she tries new things, and she produces shows for people. She produces her own shows, and she runs real world groups over in, I'm going to say, the Pacific coast of the States. Actually, she's over in San Diego, and we work well together, and we've got an understanding, and again, we've got mutual respect. Is going to keep cropping up because it's true. And again, I'm looking forward to being live with Linda and David next Tuesday. And the final member, but not, Tina Care-Valent. Tina is an excellent broadcaster, very good in presentation. She is a professional photographer. She breeds and releases butterflies, and that fascinates me. It's just a beautiful thing to do, to actually raise the butterflies and then release them, and it's just magical watching them take off. But Tina brings a sense of values, and it's values that you actually need when you're actually producing the show. It's great to have Tina. Tina's taking on Wednesday, and there you are. Those are my friends. So in no particular order, Next week, Marco, Irene, David, Brigetti, Joe, Lottie, Linda and Tina will be live using Be Live TV, and we'll be live on Facebook and on YouTube because we can now simulcast. And we're going to set down a blueprint. And the blueprint is two-sided. One, if you are a show producer, what services should you provide? Should you do the simple meet up 15 minutes before the show, send the recording, or should you do more than that? And we're going to explore the more than that, the value, the difference between a business transaction and starting a business relationship, and actually providing value for money and not underselling yourself. Joe and I were talking about this, that producers tend to undersell themselves. We thought that anybody who was charging $75 for a 30-minute episode was dismissing their own skill set, because it is a definite skill set. Producing a live show where you're actually looking after the host and guests, you're looking after the images, you're looking after the videos, you're looking after the comments. It's not easy. It becomes easier the more you actually do it, but it's not an easy thing to do. And for that reason, you shouldn't undervalue yourself. So, producer's side, basically value for money, but we've got to convince people that they are worth more than they think they are. And hopefully the blueprint will do that. As one of the teams said, once we've got the blueprint, and everybody's a co-author of it, once we have the blueprint, then people have got something to work to. Producers know what services they can actually provide and what services are important to provide. Now, I'm not going to prejudge because we've got 5 hours of discussion next week around these topics. I'm just giving you a teaser, an idea of what we're going to be talking about. So producers are one side, and many of those are our friends and colleagues, and we produce shows together. The other side of it is as a client. If you go into a car showroom, you know which car you're going to buy, you know what the specs are, you know reliability of that particular car because you've checked it out on the web, you know what its miles per gallon is, you know how much it costs to run, you know how efficient it is, you know how green it is, you know everything about the car before you actually buy it. But what do you know about buying production services? And it's a grey area because it's a new area. We've had a situation going back where before we could live broadcast, there were production companies, professional production companies. You went into the studio and they broadcast out from there. Nowadays, you don't need to move from your office and you can have somebody produce your broadcast whilst you're in your office from remotely. And that's magical, but it also means that you need to know, you need to trust the person who's producing the show for you, because if they're charging you money, then you want to know that they're going to give you a reliable service, that they're actually going to do what you want. Now, in order for them to do that, you've got to give them certain information. If you're a potential client, you've got to get your act together and put together the information producer's going to need. So we'll be talking about that. We'll be talking about the information a client, prospective client, should actually give to a potential producer, so that you know what's expected. Because the second episode next Tuesday is called Great Expectations, and what you don't want is to have unfulfilled expectations, because you want to agree from the get-go that this is what's going to be provided, and as a client, this is what I want, this is the way I want it, can you do this? And the other side of that is, how do you know who is the right producer? Does the one who charges more give the better service? And we're going to give clients, potential clients, a list of questions that they can ask each producer, and that will form the basis of a contract between the two, where expectations will be met. The producer knows exactly what's required. The client knows exactly what is going to be done. And that's the way it should be. But at the moment, there is no way of knowing. I mean, people can show you their back catalog, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. If you want somebody to produce if you want to turn up and go straight on camera and go live, then you need confidence in the show's producers. And I've got to say that talking about Marco, Irene, David, Brigetti, Joe, Lottie, Adair, Linda, and Tina, I'd be happy for any of them to produce my show, but I'm in the position where I actually know each of them well. I would recommend them. That's not a problem. The recommendations obviously play a part. So we're going to investigate this over the course of Monday to Friday next week, 10 a.m. Eastern every day. Live video production blueprint will be live from Be Live Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. And then we're live on restream.io on the Wednesday, because that's when we're going to get everybody in the house, hopefully, and talk around the topic as a group. Okay, and it's Marco's turn to produce. We're over on the Restream. We can have 10p on screen, and we'll be going live not only to Facebook and YouTube, to Twitch, and to Periscope as well. I'm looking forward to that. In fact, I'm looking forward to all 5 days. So just to run through what's going to happen next week, we're creating a blueprint for live broadcasters and their clients and potential clients. We're live on Be Live every day at 10 a.m. Eastern. Monday show is called The Producers. The Producers is one of my favorite films, which is why it's a title. And it's myself, Brigitte, Lottie, Marco. And our basic question is, what should show producers provide? And we're going to answer that question during the course of the hour. Second show is Great Expectations, which is one of my favorite books. And we're going to be talking about what clients expect, and that's myself and Linda and David. Wednesday, as I already said, is a roundtable discussion hosted by Marco. And then Thursday is Best Practice with myself, Adair, Marine. And that's going to be, well, I'm looking forward to all the broadcasts. Got to say that. It is true as well. It's going to be an exciting week. And then on Friday, we're going to wrap everything up and talk about a blueprint, and it will be myself, Brigetti, Lottie, Joe. And that sort of rounds the week off, the show a week on Friday. And I'm really looking forward to that. So make a note in your diary that Monday through Friday next week, 10 a.m. Eastern, on Facebook and YouTube, you can listen to 10 people who produce shows on a regular basis as we actually create something. Because what we're going to do at the end of it is we're going to create a document, a PDF, which is the blueprint, which will be widely available. And after that, after the PDF, and we've got that underway, then we're actually going to do a book as well, an ebook, which will be on Amazon. So normally when we get together, it's just a 5-day broadcast, and then we leave each other. But this time, we're actually together in a Facebook group, and we're actually planning that the real work starts after the live shows. And we're going to be producing an ebook, which I say is on Amazon, and it's going to be, well, hopefully, we plan it to be the most useful guide to producing shows and finding producers that you can trust that there's ever been. And it's going to be, I'm just so excited by it. It's just going to be in the most amazing week. Now, something's going to happen on Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. in the UK. When I was younger, at the local club, I ran disco sessions. Hard to believe, I know, but I actually ran music sessions. And we used to spin 45s these days. There were no computers, no software to do it. It was all done manually. So I played the discs and did the patter in between. And ever since then, I've wanted to go back to it. And the idea of United World Radio was brought about by Fons. Fons and I had a discussion. He and I have been broadcasting together now for nearly 3 years, I think. And his background is in radio. So along with Nigel, we have started a radio station, which is called United World Radio. Now, United World Radio, internet-based, 24/7 music. Servers are in Canada, and thank you to Toronto Cast for providing the service. And we're able to play music 24/7, and we're also able to play podcasts. Now, that means that we can take podcasts from everywhere and play them on the station on a regular basis. So shout out if you have a podcast, then join us. Back to my original story, which is I enjoy playing records. And now on Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. in the UK, I'm going to have my first ever radio show. Now, I want to say thank you to the Soundtrap. Soundtrap is a piece of software that's been going since 2012, but I discovered it last week, and Soundtrap me to actually put together, using the MP3s from a hard drive, allowed me to put together a selection of my favorite music, and in a 30-minute show, and that 30-minute show airs on Monday. So in addition to doing this live podcast, which I actually enjoy, using Soundtrap, I'm able to put together music shows which are played live on the radio. And this has been a dream, to actually go live on the radio, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to actually listening to music. I mean, I've played it. I mean, I love the music, so I've played the podcast about 3 times already. But it'd be great for it to actually go live on air and then to be on the station permanently. Because, as I say, it's what motivates me is the fact that we do have so many opportunities now. I mean, the team that's broadcasting together, this is the time broadcasting together 5 consecutive days. And it's just magical. It's a magical week. The sum of the parts is it just works. It works as a team. We're able to achieve more as a team than we might do as individuals. So teamwork is an amazing part of what we do. And that's what motivates me. And my inspiration comes from the long walk, which I did today, 7 miles out into the countryside, around the Wiltshire countryside. Fortunately, the black clouds were there, but they didn't rain, and that was good. And from doing projects like the 5 Days Live project next week with a live video production blueprint, mouthful, I got it right now, and of course going live on the radio next Monday is going to be a blast. So we're in now. I've learned my lesson. I'm not going to publish this podcast on Podbean until I've actually edited it. So the next thing I've got to do is download this live show and edit it so that when it's published, it actually looks a bit more polished. If you've been listening live, thank you. I do appreciate it. And if you want to join me in the studio, please do. The more of these I do, the more confident I will get and the more promotion I will do. I drew back on posting this on Facebook just now because I didn't know how it was going to turn out. And that's the thing. The more you do, the more live videos you do, the more podcasts you do, the more confident you get. Thank you for listening. Take care, and I'll see you all again.